Coming up in today's Love Talk, we have a couple in the studio that learnt to face the challenge of moving to another country head on. Did it make them stronger? Let's find out on today's show. Cultural differences have never felt more prominent than when we move to a country where culture is deeply embedded. How you will cope and to whom you will speak to can all be challenges, but never more so than when you can barely speak the language. We have all of this, and also a trip for two with a bit of a twist, 60-second hottest celebrity couples, a 1-minute bulletin, and more, all on today's Love Talk show.
Hello everyone, welcome to Love Talk with myself, James.
And with me, Helena. Well, people say that love can withstand all hardships, but we're going to find out if that's true or not.
The truth is that when you get married, you expect things to be sweet. You expect like a fairy tale. You just met this person, or you just met them, but you're together, you get married, you have this wonderful relationship. You expect things to be very sweet. However, a relationship sometimes can have tough moments, and we don't expect them, we don't know when they're coming, but when they do, you have to be ready.
Oh yes, well, when two people are decided on what they want, they overcome any hardship. I believe in that. That's what we've been doing, and that's what we've been kind of passing on to you. I mean, we always talk about personal examples and how it used to be for us, so I believe in that very much. Yes,
that's right, and when those tough challenges come, you have to be focused on what you've decided. You know, we usually talk about those vows you say at the altar, right? Till death do us part, in sickness and in health. And when things go wrong, you need to stick to those vows, to remember the promise you made to that person. Because even if things don't feel great, things are not going that well, those promises you made will pull you through. Because even tough moments are momentary. They don't last forever.
Yeah, it's true. It's all to build up experience and maturity. That's what I think. Well, what can sometimes be the most testing of experiences can show you things about each other you never knew. And I know, well, I can very well remember a few some moments where through my, shortcomings, I don't know if I can call it so, I kind of got to know who I really was. I don't know if that happened to you.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
It's like through the problems that you have, you get to know the person, you get to know yourself. And without a doubt, and this is the most important bit, without a doubt, it makes your relationship stronger. It makes you think, if we got through this, we can get through anything. So you can't prepare or you can't know when tough moments are coming, but when they do, you have to be ready, and going through them makes you stronger. Now, we took this topic to the streets to see what the people in London had to say about today's topic. Here's what they said.
So, have you ever had something unexpected happen in a current or previous relationship?
Of course I had. In my current relationship, I am here. I moved to London recently, and that was kind of unexpected.
I relocated by about 250 miles and changed my life completely.
I came here with a girl originally, and got pretty well. I'm still in England, so...
Is it better to plan ahead or live for the moment?
See, I'm a live in the present type of person. I'm not going to lie to you.
Got 3 kids, so we always live for the moment. But planning ahead is better, yeah.
I'm a planner that likes adventure.
If you ask my wife, then every little detail needs to be mapped out, planned ahead in advance. There needs to be a list about the lists that need to be made for planning ahead. And if you ask me, no, I live for the moment.
Is confiding in someone necessary when something unexpected happens, or should you just get on with it?
Obviously, a problem shared always helps, but it's best to crack on.
I don't really like to talk about my personal life. I usually keep relationships in a relationship circle. So it'll just be me and my girlfriend. But yeah, I do feel like you do need someone to have a conversation with, to straighten your mind out.
I think, again, it depends on your personality type. So I'm an expressive, I need to talk.
I think it depends on your personality. I like to be in control of my own destiny, so I try to do things by myself.
Do you think serious conversations should happen in relationships?
Yeah, I do think serious relationship. I mean, you can push away from it as much as you want to, but it will happen eventually.
I feel I do. I can't have a relationship without a serious conversation, which is why I picked my wife. because I was able to have a serious conversation with her.
Serious conversations are necessary, for example, in a situation like mine, when you move to another country, it's better to be serious.
Yes, but with a lot of sense of humor too.
Do tough times make a relationship stronger or more fragile?
At the time, fragile, but in long term, stronger.
You get life lessons in everything, so whether they're good or bad, they're still a life lesson.
I think tough times find the weaknesses in a relationship. You know, a little bit like I use the analogy of like a boat on the water, and if you don't have the weight balance correct, then a rough sea will really find where the imbalance is far quicker than it would. So when you're going through a tough time, that's when you really start to find out what your relationship's like.
Definitely, if the relationship is good, yes, it makes it stronger.
Again, if you take the middle path, they are fragile as well as strengthening.
I think despite common assumption, I think definitely more fragile. A happy life with no problems always makes for a stronger relationship.
Well, you see that people deal with tough situations, with difficult moments differently. And as we mentioned before, we learn who our partner really is when we go through these situations. You know, when we talk about difficult moments or unexpected, let's use this word, this is the key word, unexpected difficult moments. Because the truth is, when you're about to sign your marriage certificate, you don't think, you know what, I'm going to get ready for when things go wrong. You don't think that. You think about the great moments. But these unexpected moments, they come. And when they do happen, you go through this self-discovery, but also discovery of who your partner is, how you can support your partner. This is very important because people react to things really differently. Sometimes you're going through this difficult, unexpected situation, but your partner doesn't react well to you saying all the time, oh, I want to support you, I want to be there for you. Sometimes your partner wants to be left alone. And it's important that you know how your partner reacts to your input in that situation.
And this is often when couples come and seek for advice. Some choose to, unfortunately, get divorced. It might sound a bit like extreme, but it's true. That's when you hear, oh, you know, we were married for a year or two and we weren't meant for each other, which is not true. Maybe, you know, because every couple goes through this time of their marriage where it's, like you said, self-discovery. And it's not easy. And the right thing to do, really, is to seek advice, seek help, because you will see that every couple goes through the same thing.
Yeah, and
Everyone.
you know, usually we think in a relationship when things are going well, that the person can do no wrong. And you'd be surprised that when things happen that you didn't expect, you don't know how the other person is going to react to that. Because when the relationship starts, you only deal with the good stuff. So you don't really know how the person will react when something goes wrong. Maybe they will go into their shell, maybe they will lash out. You don't know. So you have to sort of like learn on your feet how to deal with the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of the things that I notice that from the people we speak to, the couples, is that humbleness is something difficult for them. And I remember, even for myself, it was difficult because it's that time where you find out who you truly are, and the way you reacted, you are like, okay, this is not, I don't really want to apologize, it was his fault or whatever. It's difficult, but if you go past that stage, you're going to be okay. You will see, you're going to be okay. But you know what? The plus side to this is that you can get through it. So let's see what's current in the news now.
Welcome to this week's Love Talk Show 1-Minute News Bulletin. Now, as if we needed anyone to tell us this, a recent report shows that if you come off Facebook for just 1 week, it can make you happier.
Well, and according to telegraph.co.uk, Facebook is a word cited in 1 in 5 divorces. Now, that's quite alarming.
As my wife says, there was life before Facebook came around. Now, why should you come off social media? We're not suggesting you should do that, but think of all the free time you're going to have to be with your family, to work out, to do something profitable for yourself. You're not going to be comparing, according to this report. One of the most upsetting things is when you compare your pictures with someone else, because apparently they are having more fun or being happier than you are. So perhaps having more time to look at your family, at those who are closer to you, can indeed make you happy. Well, let's go back to our topic. Going back to what we were saying, sometimes when you go through the fire, that's where your relationship is tested. Actually, I'm reminded of a biblical quote that says exactly this, that we are tested in the fire. And if your relationship is straw, which means if it has no consistency to it, if you haven't really invested in it, it's going to fall apart. But if your relationship is gold, as the Bible says, then it's going to be purified and made stronger, and it's going to be made 100 times better, right? Mm-hmm. The truth is,
I agree with you.
You know, Lena, we only get to know our partner really when you go through those moments.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Because
he's looking at me and he's like, we can only get to know our partners.
Because you know why? Because their guard is down. Think about it. When someone is really ill, when someone loses their job, when a business goes under, and you have to go through that moment with that person, their guard is down. The person doesn't think about makeup or how you think of them. It's who they really are.
Yeah, it's a very well, you get to see your partner in a very vulnerable situation many times. And, you know, just go with it. You know, things are not going well. Just talk about things, communicate. I think communication is one of the best things.
Yes.
And never think that you are the only one going through that problem, because you're not.
Yeah.
Okay?
And usually, when we resist changing, that's when we need changing the most, right? Usually we want to change when we are in our comfort zone, when we are expecting to have to change, when you plan that you're going to need to change. But when something comes out of the blue, you have to adapt, right? And a relationship is very much like that. You will go, whether you like it or not, you will go through unexpected, difficult moments. But here's the thing, when years go by, for example, when we look back at our relationship, Lena, I'm sure you'll agree with me, we look back at difficult things we've been through, and when those difficult things ended, that's when our relationship went to the next level, when we were stronger, when we were closer together. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, of course, and this is what happens to older couples. You know, that's why when you look at very old couples walking down in the park, walking hand in hand, you wonder, how many times I went out to do street interviews for the actual program, for this program, and I had my producer say, oh, look at that couple, so old and cuddling and holding hands together. And there were a few that we went to speak to, and we asked them, what's your secret? And there was one I never forget. He said, you know, many hardships together brought us together, and we are still going strong. And they met in 1920 something and still going really strong. So I believe that brings you really closer together. And of course, you know, don't resist. Don't resist talking, communicating, because this is a problem. It's like a snowball. When you know, when couples resist and they are proud to address the issue, the elephant in the room, like they say, it's like a snowball.
Absolutely.
It never gets resolved.
And you know, when you are in that situation, logic has to override emotion. Because when things go wrong, you feel a lot of stuff, right? You feel upset, you feel angry, you don't know what to do. But the truth is, don't worry about what you feel. It's like when you're doing an equation at school, you have a maths problem. If you can't fix it, if you can't do that equation, you get frustrated and you tear up the paper and you throw it against the wall, you still haven't fixed the problem. It's still there. If you go back and you get the paper and you open it, it's still there. So how do you get through that? You think about it, you think of different options, and you work hard to get to the solution. A relationship is very much like that. You have to, you know, if you're sad with the situation you're going through, you can't solve the problem with sadness or with being, you know, upset. You work together, and together as a team, you solve the problem.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. But let's find out more on today's topic after this short break.
Welcome back. We've been speaking about the unexpected challenges that couples will have to go through. I was going to say couples may have, but you may not have to go through this problem. You will have to go through this problem.
I was worried about what you're going to...
It's an absolute certainty. And maybe you say, oh, James, don't jinx my relationship. We're not jinxing anything. It's part of life. I know you don't want it. I know you say, well, I really don't want something bad to happen. Listen, you're going to have to deal with stuff, right? But that's going to mature your relationship.
Oh, yeah. But what about when those challenges are cultural? We didn't have that problem, but we did have a problem with upbringings.
You know, let's just say that Elena and I, we are from opposite parts of our country, right?
Yes.
I'm from the south, laid back, grew up by the beach, you know, nothing would take away my peace, and with a calm, relaxed kind of guy. Elena's from the north, and she has a very different family. So we clashed a bit.
Were you going to say a strong temper?
No. No.
Just checking.
Absolutely not. And if I do, I don't want to see that strong temper. Just joking. I wasn't going to say that. But we have different families, different parts of the country. Your part of the country is very outspoken, noisy. My part of the country is more relaxed. So I think even that in the beginning was a little bit of a challenge, right?
Yeah, it was. I had to learn to tune it down a little bit.
That's true. Getting to terms with culture that is not your own, if you're partners of a different culture, it can be difficult sometimes. And actually, it's not an unexpected change. So when you move in, you get married with this person, you live under the same roof, you knew the person had a different culture, but all of a sudden, this person is cooking foods you never ate before. You were used to mommy's cooking, right? And then you say, hold on a second, I have no idea what these spices are, what this stuff is. You have to deal with it. The fact that the person, you know, behaves differently to different situations because of culture or has different habits in terms of a hobby or spending time relaxing. And these are all things that may be expected, but you don't really know how you deal with that once you're there.
Indeed.
Unless you're there.
But when you have little to no expectations or preparation, it can become even harder. And that's why Love Talk is here.
That's
to
right.
help you, to guide you in the right direction.
That's right. But it does help if you have family, friends, who you're close to, that you can... By the way...
Yeah, sometimes they give bad advice.
Yes, but let me just explain that when I say family and friends, it's not for you to disclose what you're going through. So sometimes you may be with your family and friends and not necessarily speak about your relationship, but just the fact that you're there helps. Just the fact that they're there for you helps. But I do think it's a bad move to go to your family and friends and expose what is happening in your marriage, unless, for example, if it is a sickness, if it is an illness, then your family will play a very important role, don't you think so, Lena?
Yes.
In getting your partner through that or getting you through that. If it's the fact that you lost your home, for example, when we had the recession, we are now officially out of the recession, but a few years ago, when we had the recession, families were really important because many people lost their homes. Some of them had to go back to their parents' homes and they were married or they were in solid relationships. You know, families played an important part in that.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that, of course, this is very important, family, but always filter what they say. And of course, like you said, never talk about personal, private things, because marriage is something sacred.
That is very important.
You were the ones who made a vow, not your mom and dad or your cousins or your aunties. And I don't know about you, but I would find it very disrespectful for you to go to your mom and say, oh, you know, Elena this, Elena that. And that would create even more problems.
Absolutely.
Hello and welcome to this week's quiz. Now I have with me today Waylon and Sonia. Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi. Now, thank you so much for coming. I heard that you've been married for 17 years, but we still want to know how well you know each other. Now, the rules are very simple, okay? I will ask you each 5 questions and you have only 10 seconds to answer each one correctly. Are you ready?
Yes.
Sonia, I'm going to begin with you.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Okay. Remember, you are playing for a trophy. Oh, yes, you are. So, the winner will take the trophy home. As if it's separate homes, but never mind. Anyway, question number 1. What annoys Waylon the most? 10 seconds.
Having to wait for me.
There you have it, correct one. Question number 2. What are you two most likely to argue about?
Time.
He said something else.
Wait for me.
No? Keep trying.
Okay.
He said, okay, when you answer something and he replies, how do you know that? So you should know what that means. I think you do.
Yes, that's true.
Question
it should
number
be
3.
what annoys me then, right? Okay.
Well, you still have a few more to go. Now, question number 3. What's his favorite food?
Anything I cook, I think.
Excellent. Perfect. That's what he said. Yes, well done. Question number 4. What does he like to do in his spare time?
Going out together.
Yes, correct. And last question. Ready?
Yes.
What does he like the most about you? 10 seconds.
I'm clean.
No, keep trying. Probably you are, but...
Organized.
No.
Hardworking.
You ran out of time. He said your smile.
Oh.
You smile a lot and he loves that about you. Isn't that nice?
Yes, it is.
Well, you've done quite well, I have to say. Now, Waylon, it's your turn. How are you feeling about this? Tell me.
We're ready, bring it on.
Are you feeling confident or are you a bit intimidated? Because she did quite well.
Yeah, I want to win a trophy, so I have to do my best now.
All right, so let's do this. Question number 1 for you. What makes Sonia happy in general?
If I help her in the household work.
She said something else?
If we go out together. And fresh air.
Yes.
Nature.
Yes, I don't know
going
if
for a walk.
Listen, that's the correct one, when you go out for nature. Now, I don't know if we had enough time for this one, but we will find out soon after the, when we go for the scores. Question number 2, what's her favorite book?
Her favorite book is a marriage book.
She said a title of, no, she said something else. It's like a novel. I'm giving you a hand here, 10 seconds.
A novel.
You
I just don't know the name.
You ran out of time. No. We knew that you would find this one difficult. She said Redeeming Love.
Redeeming Love.
Yeah, Francis
River, right?
Yes.
Francis River, yeah.
Yeah. Question number 3. What's a favorite accessory?
Earrings.
Correct. Question number 4. What's a shoe size?
Number 6.
Correct. I have a feeling that we really go easy on men on this one. Question number 5 and last one. Concentrate. What does she like the most about you? 10 seconds.
Quick. I'm organized, tidy, serious.
No.
If I'm focused.
No.
Chinese eyes.
No, you ran out of time. She said you have so much patience and gentleness, and she loves that about you.
Great.
Isn't it? And the score is, it's a draw. Okay, so we are going to take it to the tiebreaker. Yes, we are. The first person to give me the answer gets the trophy. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, so name the time, and the date of your wedding.
15 of August
1998. 15 August 1998.
1 o'clock.
Okay, so, but you forgot to say the time.
Are you sure 1 p.m.?
Yes.
All right then, so we have a winner, and the winner is Sonia.
Whoa.
Just because she remembered the time. Sorry, Waylon. Sorry, you are not taking the trophy home, but she is. Yeah. Well done to you both. Now let's see the 3 most annoying things about your partner.
Number 1, when he asks me a question, I answer him, and then he keeps on saying, how do you know that? And then I answer him, and then he asks back, how do you know that? So yeah, it's a never-ending question.
Time, when I have to wait, when I'm in a rush, that's not good. I don't like that.
When he leaves the clothing laying around, maybe. Doesn't annoy me anymore, but yeah, maybe.
When my wife needs to bring the entire house in her handbag and take it with us, then in the end, I have to carry the bags for myself because I don't want her to hurt her back.
Toothpaste on the sink? I think that's it.
Well, the third, I can't think of anything else.
Welcome back. Well, you've already met the couple of the hour, and guys, thank you for being on the program.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
We've been wanting to get you here on the program for a long time.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And by the way, you are the first ones to win our trophy, our Love Talk Quiz trophy. This is solid gold, right?
Wow.
Please do look after it when you go back to Ireland, right? And Sonia, this is yours because you won on the tiebreaker question.
Well
Congratulations.
done, well done.
Now, guys, you've been together for how long?
17 years, yeah. Seems like yesterday.
Time flies.
Now, we brought you on the program because we know that soon after you got married, things changed a lot for you, right? And it was a completely different situation and you had to adapt to that. Tell us a little bit about that change. What happened? Who's going to start?
Yeah, I can start. We both got married here in London, and my in-laws, they live in London. My parents, they live in Leicester, so everybody in UK.
Mm-hmm.
And then when there was a job opportunity in Asia, in Hong Kong, we had to grab it because it was a wonderful opportunity, and especially after you get married and we had no kids. So it made it a little bit easier to travel to Asia. We were excited and young, and you're very you're very open-minded to go into the world and explore the world. And when that opportunity came, of course, we went to Asia, where I was born.
Mm-hmm. So you were born in Hong Kong?
I was born in Hong Kong.
But you couldn't be less Chinese if you tried.
True.
We'll get to this later.
So then, you look at your wife and you say, darling, what do you think about moving to Hong Kong, to the other side of the world? And then she said, all right, let's go. Right?
Wow, that's the spirit.
Did you have a lot of
wife.
family members waiting for you there, like a big community network to help you?
We didn't have cheerleaders like that, but my grandma lives there, and I've got a couple of nephews and nieces there. But of course, I never connected with them. Why? Because I grew up in the Netherlands and lived all my life in Europe, so I really didn't know them personally. But as we traveled there, it was an opportunity for me to get to know the other part of my family in person.
So Sonia, when you got there, you found yourself in Hong Kong with this person you had recently married. How was that?
In the beginning, it was not that bad. Everything was new, so it's like you want to find out the culture, the family, because I've never met them, and it was different because I went there to meet them and they don't understand me, I don't understand them.
Oh my God, it's true, isn't it?
So they are there and they are very loud speaking, and you think they are fighting, but they are not fighting. They are actually having fun. But yeah, it was okay. It was hard in the beginning just because of the language barrier, but then you start to pick up some things and it gets better.
I heard that Chinese or Cantonese or what's the other one?
Is it Cantonese or Mandarin?
Mandarin.
It's Cantonese.
Cantonese.
But both of them, I heard it's a sound language, isn't it? It's like the louder you go, it has different sounds and it means different things. That's very interesting.
Right, because you got one word. If you speak it louder, then it becomes a different meaning.
Wow.
And if you speak it in a lower tone, then it has another meaning as well. So When people speak very loud, sometimes it seems that they are angry or they're fighting,
Well,
but they're not.
I wonder what they sound like when they are arguing then.
You want to run away.
Okay.
Oh, they don't talk. They just don't talk.
Interesting.
Shut down.
They shut down, yes.
Which, surprisingly, I'm aware that this is something you used to do a lot when you were in London. So tell us about that, the thing you used to shut down, and then going there, you couldn't afford to shut down. How did that go?
Because I was always a very reserved person, so even with my parents, I would not speak much. So if I had a problem, I dealt with it myself. So when I got married, that was one of the main problems in the beginning, was if he did something I didn't like, I would simply freeze, I would shut down, and I couldn't open up. So I could be days without talking.
Really? Because usually it's the man who does that. I used to do that.
No, usually it's the woman. You were the
Really?
one who did that. So,
Okay,
you were one in
so usually it's the
used to
woman,
be
but
the
I
one
was the
who-
one who did that.
Yeah, no, it's more, isn't it? It's typical of women. Sorry, women out there. But yeah.
So I used to have that problem. I would, I couldn't speak about it. And then I would be in my mind, he would ask me, what's wrong with you? And I said, in my mind, as if he doesn't know. So I wanted him to read my mind, but I thought if I was okay and suddenly I changed the behavior, he wouldn't know what he was doing wrong. It was not like that. So when I went to Hong Kong, actually it did help because it was just me and him, and we were always together. We wouldn't go anywhere alone. So I had to learn to communicate my feelings, and he also kind of helped me. In the beginning, it was a shock because usually the woman likes talk, 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 talk. He was the talker. If I would close myself and shut down, he wanted to take it out by force, and I was not ready to speak about it.
Interesting situation.
Yeah, but then in Hong Kong, I had to learn because, yeah.
So there you didn't have the luxury of shutting down because you wouldn't have anybody else to speak to. It had to be him, right?
And we were always together, always.
Right. So, wait a minute.
No running away.
How did you adapt to that new, not strain, but the fact that now you were always together, you did everything always together. Here, before you traveled, you played football with your friends, you had these little breaks, mini breaks. There you had no breaks, you were always together. Did you feel that forcefully helped you to get along better? Did that help you, or how did you deal with that?
Well, I would think like this, that we had to create new habits, but new habits together, a bit like where East meets West.
Right.
In our case, it was really like that
because you're from...
I'm from the East,
yeah.
She's from the West. So you really have to be open-minded and pick up different habits, habits that she enjoys and habits that I enjoy. But probably as she went to Hong Kong, I would think so, that she would understand certain things that people would do there in Hong Kong or in Asia. And then you see that people live there very different. You can find the same solution in a different way. For example, the Chinese, they read a book the other way around, right? Not from front to back, but back to front. So
they are very creative, isn't it?
yeah, so you learn a lot of new stuff. And
So
I think we learned a lot with each other there, and we invested in one another.
I think we learned to be a team there in Hong Kong. We were a team.
So was that the only thing you struggled with in the beginning of marriage? The silent treatment thing, lack of communication, or was there anything else?
Well, like she mentioned, I was trying to take it out by force, right? And I definitely that was not a good method. That was not a good method.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work at all. So I also learned on my part that I had to change in that perspective.
So how did you get to how did you make her speak? How did you know?
So forcing didn't work.
Yeah, so what did you do?
I think I had to be more balanced and give her as well time, space for her to, allowing her to open up and allowing her to take the initiative to speak. Okay. So sometimes the best thing to do is just to zip
and give space. Just to live it.
Yeah.
He gave me space, the time I needed for me to process what happened, you know, to make sense of things. And as well, he allowed me, for example, when I would speak, I would just speak anyhow. So when I spoke anyhow, which was not the best way to speak, he didn't take it personally. And then with time, I also look into myself how to improve that. Okay, I managed to speak it out, and so next time I'm gonna try to say it, but in a different way.
But did he ever say that to you, like, oh, you speak to me just anyhow? Did he ever say that?
No.
But you see, this is something I wanted to just quickly comment on. Sometimes, most times when we counsel couples, there's this thing, oh, but she speaks to me like this. Oh, but no, you speak to me like that. And it's interesting because you were understanding towards her. You were like the one, I don't know the word, like...
Giving her space.
Yeah, giving her space. You kind of realize, I can't carry on talking to him like this by yourself. So this is something that very interesting.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes you think that only by saying, oh, you stop talking to me like this, that you're going to get the person to change, and it doesn't happen.
Now we have to go to a break, but when we come back, we want to find out, after you got through that difficult period of adapting to a new country, perhaps not difficult specifically for your marriage, but difficult because you were in a new environment, new language, starting things from scratch in your career, in your field of work. How did that strengthen your marriage? How did that make your marriage get better? A lot of people, when something goes wrong or when something bad happens, they choose to quit. You kept going and it made your marriage better. So don't go anywhere. If you are going through a difficult moment in your marriage, in your relationship right now, remember that these moments are the ones that make your marriage, your relationship stronger. We're going to go to our 60-second news spot and we'll be right back.
Hello and welcome to the 60-second hottest celebrity couples. It's all been pretty quiet on the Sandra Bullock front, but in recent news, her new mystery man has finally been revealed. She was caught cuddling up with him at Jennifer Aniston's wedding, according to Us Weekly. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's none other than the 49-year-old photographer Brian Randall. Here's a bit of sad news for those who have been following this pair. Avril Lavigne and Chad Kroeger announced they were officially breaking up. The Canadian singer and Nickelback frontman broke the news on Instagram that it was all over. It's no, it's yes, it's maybe. News of the seriousness of this couple was revealed in a recent interview. Yes, that's right, The Weeknd and model Bella Hadid were keeping their relationship on the down low until he was asked the question whether he was in love with his model girlfriend. Just a tad personal, wouldn't you say? Well, that's all folks, but tune in next time for some more 60-second hottest celebrity couples.
Welcome back. What we've learned about our guest couple so far is that after being married for a very short period of time and having moved between Willesden, Stamford Hill, Birmingham also, you then moved to Hong Kong.
Very similar
where
city.
You only knew your grandmother, right?
Yeah.
Your grandmother?
Only my grandmother.
Not very well though.
Yeah.
So guys, you went through this tough period of adapting to the country. It put your relationship in a new, I wouldn't say stressful situation, but new situations you had to deal with. Yeah. When you went through this and you were used to your surroundings now, what did that do for your marriage? I mean, what changes did you start to see for the better?
I was quickly calculating. We were 4 years here in England, in the UK, but we actually stayed together 12 years in Hong Kong. So we spent more of our marriage together in Hong Kong. So if you think about these 12 years, I think, in my opinion, I believe my wife agrees, Let's hope she does. Otherwise, we need to start recording again.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think our marriage in Hong Kong over those 12 years only got stronger, and we learned more about each other.
Definitely.
Came closer. We got closer than ever, and we had to be very independent as well. So since we didn't have anybody else to count on, then you become each other's best partners, huh? In everything we do.
You know, I'm listening to what he's saying. I'm sorry to interrupt. And I remember when we were sent abroad as well for work, we would like play Scrabble, and then okay, what else are we going to play? Oh, let me see, maybe
Monopoly.
So we got to learn all those games. You know, talking so much. You know, talking about each other, to each other.
Yeah.
About each other. Everything was.
And the reason why we brought you here is because we live in a society where everything is disposable, right? You don't fix stuff anymore, you get rid of it. And people tend to do sometimes that with relationships. And you, even though you went through some difficult moments there, you stuck with the relationship. And I know there are people watching us now who may have situations like an illness, unexpected illness, you know, a loss of a job, of a business, and they have to deal with that unexpected situation like you did. It was almost unexpected that you moved to a different country. What do you think is one of the most important things, or if there's an advice you can give to people who are in that situation, what would you advise them to do?
I think the secret is really to stick together, is for you to find your partner's needs and attend to the needs. And don't expect your partner to attend to your needs. You should be focused in making the other person happy, not making yourself happy, and that's the way to go.
Right. So if anyone right now, you know, lost a job, lost a business, if she is going through that, then my role is to say, you know, you can make it, support the person and try to be there for them, right?
Actually, my husband had to do that with me as well, because when I was in Hong Kong, there was a time I had an injury. I fell down the stairs, and for some time I could hardly walk, and he had to adjust to that. So he was used to me being active, doing this, doing everything for him, and then he found himself having to do a lot of stuff for myself. There was a time I couldn't even take a liter of milk because of the pain I was feeling. So he also had to assist me, you know, not neglect what he was doing, but also see my need at the moment.
Okay. That really brings maturity to a couple, because we were even talking about this in one of our programs, that in sickness and in health, and some people, they make you feel like worse for you being ill, if you understand what I mean. You're not feeling well, and then you get the husband or the wife saying, but come on, just, you know, get better, because, you know, I need you to cook for me, I need you to clean for me.
And that doesn't help.
Of course not. The person feels worse, so it's very good.
Well, you said something interesting. When you got there, didn't know anyone, so you did everything together. Now, as you built relationships and created bonds, did you start to do things with different people? You know, do things that you like now with male friends, or you stuck to always, you know, playing Scrabble with your wife? Or...
For 12 years playing Scrabble.
Wow.
No, I love to play football, and I enjoy that. So we pick up this habit in the UK to play football. And then when you go to Hong Kong, I had to find some buddies, right? To play a 5-a-side, 7-a-side. So that would be very, very nice, especially with new people you meet. In fact, Hong Kong is a very, very international city. So you got people working there from France, Australia, New Zealand, America. So you meet up with people, and yeah, probably that's the only activity I wouldn't do with my wife. We're just playing football.
I was going to ask you if she was in your team. You were not in the team.
I was cheering.
Okay.
Many times I would take my stuff, even my nail kit, and I would, while he's playing there and I was doing my nails there, go score, well done. I would literally do that.
Oh, that's
okay,
nice.
Guys, we want to thank you for being on the program with your inspirational story, and we hope that people who watched your story today, they can understand that it is important that if you are going through a difficult time together, you know, the interesting thing about difficult times is that they don't last forever. A difficult period of time is temporary. So it lasts a few months, it may last a year, but at some point you're going to get out of that. So the important thing is to stick together because your relationship will get stronger.
Absolutely. You know, your friends, your mom and dad will not be there for you always. But the husband or the wife, they are there for the long run. So you better take care of that person really, really well, because if you don't, someone else will.
And they are your greatest investment.
Exactly. Right? I couldn't have put it in a better way. They are your best investment. So if I were you,
that's right. So
I would invest.
If whether you're married, you're engaged, or you're dating, if you're going through a tough time, just stick through it, be there for that person, and you're going to get out of that situation very soon. Now, we usually go on dates, Elena and I, and we film these dates and we show you these dates. Now, we did something very different. This time we went, I went on an afternoon out with a few of my friends because, as Waylon said, it's important. There are things you can't do with your partner.
And I'm not upset. Okay, it's his time.
That's it. You know, you don't.
We know that some women don't like that.
Exactly.
Song.
Yeah. Actually, remember we got a question once from someone on Dear Love Talk who said, "Oh, how can I make my husband to stop playing football
and stay home with me?" I said, "Let the man go and play football, please."
You don't do that. You don't do that. Let the guy get healthy. Let him enjoy doing what he wants to do. So we went for an afternoon, boys out. Here's how it went. Hi everyone, as you know, today is Boys' Day Out, right? Every relationship needs a little break sometimes to go and have fun with the boys, with the girls. And today we're gonna play some foot golf. If you've never heard of it, don't worry, it's something fairly new, but there's now over 100 centers in the UK to play foot golf. It's a lot of fun, it's not expensive. If you're looking to do something new with your friends, then this is probably something you wanna try. It's a lot of fun, we hope you enjoy it. Ooh, that's bad. 3. Oh, no way. Could have been worse. Yes. Just stops there, just stop there. Yes, yes. A little more to the left. That's it, that's it, that's it. Yes. Oh no! So you have how many? How many did you have? 5. Unbelievable! Unbelievable! No way! No way! No way! Come on! Did you get that? What's that, 5th? Oh my goodness! Oh no. 5. That's right, very good. down. Stay there, stay there, stay there. 4. No, don't go down, don't go down, don't go down, don't go down, stay there. How many? It's not too bad. Good.
At the moment, looks like things. Looks like
I'm losing big time, big.
Yeah, maybe.
He's in first place. It's part of the plan, part of the plan. It's exactly what I wanted to do. I think it's too much, man. That's it, that's it. So we're gonna go to the 18th hole now, and it's all to play for. Not really. I've already lost this one. How do you feel? Well, you're not gonna win either, right? Henry's gonna win.
Oh, well, let's see where we count up the points.
Told you, you see. When we finish, we have to say, there's no winners, there's no losers. We're all friends.
Third place with 92 points is James.
But we have no winners, no losers in this game. Okay.
In second place with 83 points,
Michael Buden
is
no.
And our winner on 78 points on his debut is Henry.
Yeah. So today was all about the boys' day out, and we had a lot of fun. And you know, relationships, it's important that you are together with your partner, but once in a while, it's good to go out with the boys, with your friends, and do something different, get the competitive juices going with your friends. Okay, we hope you enjoyed it. Back to the studio.
Did you enjoy that?
That was a lot of fun. It has to be said, that's not something to be done every day, but when you can, you know, if you have a couple of hours to go and spend with your friends, that's something really nice for you to do.
Well, next week it's my turn, so...
Let's see what Elena's going to do next time. Guys, thank you for being on the program. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
They came all the way from Ireland to be here, so thank you very, very much.
Absolutely.
And join us next week for more Love Talk. Until then, bye-bye.
Well, that's all for today's Love Talk show. Be sure to tune in next week to learn how to love intelligently.
How